everyone. We're here from the Intercultural Senior Center. We're going to talk a little bit about the activity packets that were sent home to you and do an educational piece on the United States. So in your activity packet, you would have received a blank map, a list of all 50 United States, and we're going to show you how to fill that out today. You can use any map that you have at home. You can look at it on the internet, or you can follow along with this video to fill out the map that you received at home. I printed out a copy of the United States map that we're going to be using for reference to fill out our blank United States map. Let's get started. Pull out your list of your 50 United States, which should be on the back of your blank map, and we'll start filling it out. If you don't have this list, you can look up any United States list and follow along. First, we're going to start with the state of Alabama. Looking on our reference map, Alabama is located next to Mississippi. So we'll go over to our map and fill that in. So this is Alabama. Next, we will start with Alaska. Alaska is separate from the United States, so you'll see it down at the bottom of your map. Arizona is next. Arizona is right next to California. Arkansas is down by Alabama, a couple states over, right here. California is the big state over on the west. Colorado is a neighbor state of Nebraska. This is where we are in Nebraska. Colorado is next to us. Connecticut. Connecticut is one of the small states over on the East Coast. I'm just looking at my map to see where Connecticut is, since there's lots of states on this side. Right now, we are looking for Delaware. With looking on our map, Delaware is right over here. I'm writing outside of the map because these are so small, so that way you can see where it goes and how it's spelled. Going back to our states, our list of 50 states, we did Delaware, so we are now on Florida. Florida is down at the bottom. Georgia is next. Georgia is right on top of Florida. So Florida and then Georgia is on top. Hawaii. Hawaii is also across the ocean from the United States down at the bottom, so it's a couple different islands. So we'll put it down at the bottom. You can find at the bottom also in your map, in any map of the United States. Idaho is right here, kind of towards the top. Illinois, right here. Illinois is a state that is surrounded by a lake, or by the Great Lakes. Indiana. Indiana is also over by Illinois, so it's right next to it. Iowa. Many of you have been to Iowa. It is also right next to us. Nebraska is here, and Iowa is right next to us. Kansas is also a neighbor state of Nebraska. So if you go down south, you're going to go through Kansas. Louisiana is a little bit further down. It's next to Texas. Next, we're going back up to the East Coast to Maine. Maine is the big state on the corner. Maryland is also one of the smaller states down here, so it is next to Delaware. It's this one that's kind of shaped this way. We go down here to write it so we can fit the state name in here. So this is Maryland. Massachusetts, also one of the smaller states, a little bit bigger than others, but Massachusetts, it's right here. Massachusetts. Michigan is right up here by Lake Michigan. Oh, sorry, I was writing Lake Michigan. Just Michigan. We're talking about the state. Michigan. Minnesota. Minnesota is up towards the top, almost getting to Canada. So Minnesota is right here above Iowa. Mississippi, we're going down to Mississippi. This is the state that's right here between Alabama and Louisiana. And Missouri is also near us, kind of over by Kansas and Iowa. So this is Missouri. So we're halfway done here. Now we're on Montana. Montana is up above. It's this big state up here. And Nebraska. Everyone should know where Nebraska is. We live in Nebraska, right in the middle. Nevada. Nevada is over by California. New Hampshire, it's taking us back to the East Coast in those small states. So we'll look at our map for reference, make sure we got it right. It's right over here by Maine. So it's this one, and we're gonna go up at the top to write it. So we are New Hampshire. And New Jersey, still staying over in the East Coast. We are now doing New Jersey. New Mexico is down here by Arizona. New York is going back up to the East Coast. North Carolina, the Carolinas are down here, north and south, and then the North and South Dakotas are up here. So we'll go to North Carolina, which is this one. North Carolina, and then we're going to go up to do North Dakota. And Ohio is next on our list. Ohio is right over next to Indiana. And Oklahoma is down by Kansas. So if you're going down to Texas, you're going to go through Oklahoma, more than likely. Oregon pushes us up by California to the top. Oregon. Still following along with our list, so we just did Oregon. We're going to go over to Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is the bigger state up by New York. Rhode Island is one of the little states, so make sure you look at a map to kind of know where Rhode Island is. Rhode Island is next to Connecticut, so it's one of the small states, this little one. South Carolina. South Carolina is over by North Carolina, just down to the south. And then we're going to do South Dakota, which is over by North Dakota, but on the south side of it. So we'll do South Dakota. Tennessee. Tennessee is a really long state down here. Tennessee. Texas is the really big state down at the bottom. So we'll fill that in with Texas. Utah. Utah is one of the states over by Nevada and Colorado. So we'll do Utah right in the middle between both. Vermont is pushing us back over to the East Coast, right up here by New York. Looking on our list again, we just did Vermont, so we're going to go over to Virginia. Virginia is one of the bigger states right here. Virginia. Washington is our last state up at the top up here. So we'll do Washington. Don't get it confused between Washington State and Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. is our capital, which is located over on the East Coast, but this is Washington State. West Virginia is right over, looking at our map again, right over by Virginia. It's between Ohio and Virginia. So we're going to go right here. Let's see. We're going to draw this line up. So follow along. This is West Virginia, and we're going to do West Virginia. Again, if it's hard to see, follow along with the map that you may have gotten on the internet, maybe one that you already have at home, and you'll be able to see where West Virginia is as well. Two more states. We have Wisconsin. Wisconsin is up above, kind of goes over into, or kind of goes near Minnesota. And this is Wisconsin. And then our last state is Wyoming. Wyoming is one of the big states that's neighboring Nebraska. So with this video, you should have been able to fill out the entire United States utilizing our list of the 50 United States that was sent home in your July activity packet, as well as your blank map that was also sent home. So we have labeled each state, and as a bonus question, we have added the question of color in the 13 original colonies. I'm not going to be able to color them, but I will circle which ones were the 13 original colonies. You can also look that up online. Maybe you already know them. There's lots of different references for you to find those for the 13 original colonies. I personally don't know them, so I've got a map as well. So our map that we're going to be using for our 13 original colonies is something that I just pulled up on the internet. So I'm going to use a green color to circle which ones are the 13 original states. We're focusing in over on the East Coast, since the 13 original colonies were over on the East Coast, so you can see it just a little bit better. Again, you can color it in on your blank map. You can circle them however you would like. So let's get started. They're not in any order. They're just we're just going to go through and circle all of them. So we'll start up kind of at the top. So we have New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, then we'll come right back up here to New York, Pennsylvania, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. Now let's go ahead and count to make sure we haven't missed any. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Perfect. So we have now covered our 13 original colonies as well as filled in our entire blank map of the United States. If this was super easy for you, that's great. I still personally have trouble figuring out a lot of these states on the East Coast. There's so many over here, and some of them are very little. So it was a great educational piece for myself, as well as the 13 original colonies that I was not aware of. Thank you so much for coming through and filling out our states with us and utilizing both of our worksheets that were sent home with you in your July activity packet. Again, if you have trouble with it, keep trying, maybe look at a different map. Some maps are a little easier to read than others. You can always look up, like I did, the 13 original colonies to kind of help you out with that as well. We will be doing more videos for you. Be sure to follow our Facebook page at ISC Class Connect, and we'll continue to bring different educational pieces to you, as well as some other fun videos to keep you updated on what is happening at the Intercultural Senior Center. Thanks again. Hope you enjoyed. Hello again, everyone. So like I mentioned, this filling out the United States might be easy for some. For myself, I still had to follow along with a map that has already been filled out. With that, I still made a mistake and missed the lovely state of Kentucky. So we're going to go ahead and give Kentucky credit as being one of the United States, or 50 states. Now we are completely filled with all of our 50 states. It is very important that you go along with your list so we don't miss any like I did, and make sure you have all 50 states at the very end. A good point to look at is once you follow along here, you can look on your next map to make sure that they're all filled out so you don't create that mistake. Thanks again for joining us with the map. And again, follow our Facebook page at ISC Class Connect, as well as our website if you search Intercultural Senior Center. Thanks again.